And this is the GATE 2023 question paper for the stream of BT. Okay. So the first question is, you are delaying the completion of the task. Send dash your contributions at the earliest. So take a few seconds. This is simple. I'm sure all of you will be able to do it. Some of the questions might be the same with that of other streams. Okay. So if that is the case, then it's, you see, good thing for all of us. So that's nice. So this question was there in some other stream. And I'm sure all of you must have already found out that the answer is your. You are delaying the completion of the task. Send your contributions at the earliest. So your will be the thing, right? Let's move on. Okay. References is to, now where did this come from? Well, that was strange, but well, this came from somewhere. I didn't try to do it, but it happened. Well, references is to dash is analogous to guidelines is to implement. So by word meaning. So you will have to do it as per the meaning of the words. Give it a try. See, guidelines are implemented, right? Now, what are references done? References are not seen with your eyes. So option number A is wrong. References are not placed at a position. I mean, the site of the project. So the second one, SITE, is also wrong. Now, references can't be plagiarized. I mean, plagiarize means copying exactly, word by word. Okay. So obviously references can be cited, but this time, even though the pronunciation is the same with option B, the spelling is CITE. So references are cited, guidelines are implemented. So obviously cite will be the correct option here, right? Let's move on to the next. Aha. In the given figure, PQRS is a parallelogram geometry with PS is equal to 7, PT is equal to 4 PT. You can see the perpendicular dropped from the point P onto the side QR, and PV is 5. Okay, let us do it together. So in this question, what do we do? You will have to do only one small thing. It is not necessary that you copy this in the rough from the computer screen and draw this line. Well, imagination can also be put to use. You join PR in your imagination or maybe in your rough sheet. Okay. Now, PR is the diagonal of this parallelogram. Now, what is the property of a parallelogram? I am sure you know that the property of a parallelogram is that the opposite pairs of sides are parallel as well as they are equal to, right? So as you can see, this is the scenario. Now, in a parallelogram, the diagonal divides the parallelogram into two equal areas. That is also a fact. Hence, I can say that triangle, area of triangle PQR must be equal to area of triangle PRS, or rather PSR for that case, PSR. Okay, they are equal in area. But then what is the area of triangle PQR? Well, I can say it will be half into the base, that is QR. But then QR will also be 7 because PS is 7. So half into 7 into the height, that is PT, which has been given to be 4. This is the area of triangle PQR. What is the area of triangle PSR? It would be half into base. And let us take RS as the base. So RS is the base. Then the height of the triangle must be PV. PV, which is 5 centimeter. So this is the area of triangle PSR, and they are equal. So because they are equal, well, we can say this cancels off, and RS is 7 fours are 28 divided by 5. The answer has come, and such is one of the options. So I will take this. Okay. Mr. Damodaran, let us see whether our luck holds good in the next sum or not. So our luck has held good. So this, it almost appears as the same question paper that has been given. But let us see. In 2022, Junha was awarded the Fields Medal, which is the highest prize in mathematics. When he was younger, he was also a poet. He did not win any medals in the International Mathematics Olympiads. He dropped out of college. Based only on the above information, which one of the following statements can be logically inferred with certainty? Give it a try. Well, see, Junha was awarded the Fields Medal, so he was a Fields medalist, it can be said. Well, the specific properties of the character Mr. Junha was, he was also a poet. He did not win any medals in the International Mathematics Olympiads, and he dropped out of college. Okay. Now the conclusions that has been, see, inferred means concluded. So the conclusions that has been drawn, number one, every Fields medalist has won a medal in an International Mathematics Olympiad. Well, I will say this is entirely false because Mr. Junha didn't. Okay, so this can't be true perfectly. So this will be wrong. The second conclusion that has been drawn is everyone who has dropped out of college has won the Fields Medal. Now that is something preposterous to imagine that everybody who has dropped out of college has won the Fields Medal. Well, Mr. Junha was an exception. He dropped out of college yet won the Fields Medal. But that doesn't mean that everybody who has dropped out of college can win the Fields Medal. So this is far from the truth. All Fields medalists are part-time poets. Now, just because Junha was a poet, now it can't be said that all Fields medalists will be part-time poets, right? So this is not exactly correct. The last one, by default, it's the last one that should be correct. In an exam hall, don't bother even wasting time behind reading it. Take it. Okay. But here it's practice ground. So let us look at this. Some field medalists have dropped out of college. Very true. One of the biggest examples is Mr. Junha. He dropped out of college, yet he was a fields medalist. So I will say, aha, this is the right one. This can be said with perfect certainty. Right? Pretty simple. It's the same thing. Yes, it's a repeat question paper. So let us do this. We have to do this for the BT students who are there. And as because this is also being recorded and this recording will be used. A line of symmetry is defined as a line that divides a figure into two parts in such a way such that each part is a mirror image of the other part about that line. Okay, that has been said. Now the given figure consists of 16 unit squares arranged as shown. In addition to the 3 black squares, what is the minimum number of squares that must be colored black such that both PQ and MN form lines of symmetry? The figure is representative, obviously. Give it a try, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let us do it together. See, the symmetry must be about these 2 lines, PQ as well as MN. Now let us first consider PQ since it's by default given in the beginning. Now this is the line PQ. So if one has to make a symmetry of the black squares, then this square must be colored black so as to make it symmetrical with the right hand side. This square has got to be made black to make it symmetrical with the left hand extreme side. And this square also has got to be made black to make it symmetrical with the right hand side. So PQ symmetry is finished. Let us now go with MN. Now you see this is MN and all the ticked squares are also black. Let us not forget that. Okay. So this one black square has its symmetry in the ticked square here. Okay, so this symmetry is complete. But then this black square doesn't have a symmetry and its symmetry will be here. Okay, so this square must be colored black to make it symmetrical with this ticked black one. Similarly, this ticked black does not have a symmetrical black square. So I need to color this one black so as to make it symmetrical with the ticked one. So this also needs to be colored black. And as you can see, this black and this black are already symmetrical around MN. So naturally, my symmetry of MN is also complete. So how many minimum number of squares I had to color black? Count it. See, it's 5. So I will tick 5. I had to color 5 squares black. Right, everybody? I'm sure this is understood. Let's go on to the next. Human beings are one among many creatures that inhabit an imagined world. In this imagined world, some creatures are cruel. If in this imagined world it is given that the statement some human beings are not cruel creatures is false. So this statement is false. Then which of the following set of statements can be logically inferred, that is concluded with certainty? The options are given later and these are the 4 statements. Give it a try. Okay. See, some human beings are not cruel creatures is false. One must remember some can be equal to 100%, but is never equal to 0%. So if this statement is false, the true statement has to be all human beings are not cruel creatures. I wrote it in short for the lack of space. Okay, this has got to be the true one. If some human beings are not cruel creatures is false. Okay, all human beings are not cruel creatures. Okay, I hope you understand. This is false means all human beings are, my apologies, if this is false, this means all human beings are cruel creatures because some can be 100%. So all human beings are not cruel creatures can never be true. Okay, so all human beings are cruel creatures. So that is the correct one. Let us look at the options. See, the first option clearly says all human beings are cruel creatures, exactly as we have written here. So naturally this one turns out to be the correct one. In the exam hall, we would not waste our time in looking at the others. Okay, but then this is practice ground, so let us look at them. Some human beings are cruel creatures. No, all human beings are cruel creatures. That comes out to be the truth. So this cannot be perfectly all right. Means certainty is not there. Some creatures that are cruel are human beings. Well, nowhere it has been said so, right? That some creatures that are cruel are human beings. I mean, the other creatures are cruel. Nothing has been said. Okay. So naturally, I will say this is a bit out of the context that is being said. No human beings are cruel creatures. Now, this is entirely false, actually. Absolutely false. So naturally, this will be totally out. So I will say that only option number 1 stands out to be correct. Let us select whether it is option number 1 is there, and yes, it is there in this. See, only statement number 1 can be inferred with certainty. So it's only 1A. Let's go on to the next. To construct a wall, sand and cement are mixed in the ratio of 3:1. The cost of sand and that of cement are in the ratio of 1:2. If the total cost of sand and cement to construct the wall is 1000 rupees, then what is the cost in rupees of cement used? This is a simple ratio and proportion problem. Give it a try, ladies and gentlemen. Well, see, the ratio of the mixture ratio, it is given as sand and cement. So the mixture ratio is given as 3:1. Now what is the costing ratio? The cost ratio, sand and cement 1:2, it is given. Now we understand that the total expense is always equal to the amount of quantity given multiplied by the cost. So if we are to find out the expenditure ratio of sand and cement, it would be 3:1 is to 1:2. That is equal to 3:2, right? The total cost is 1000 rupees. They have asked what is the cost of cement used. So we will say that the cost of cement used will be 2 plus 3 multiplied by rupees 1000. The 2 plus 3 is what happened? 2 plus 3 is 5. So it cancels, becomes 200, and the value will be rupees 400. Let us see if there is any option. Yes, number A has the same option. Okay, so this is the one. Let's move on. This is one of those difficult pieces that is always there. So let us read it. The World Bank has declared that it does not plan to offer new financing to Sri Lanka, which is battling its worst economic crisis in decades, until the country has an adequate macroeconomic policy framework in place. In a statement, the World Bank said Sri Lanka needed to adopt structural reforms that focus on economic stabilization and tackle the root causes of its crisis. The latter has starved it of foreign exchange and led to shortages of food, fuel, and medicines. The bank is repurposing resources under existing loans to help alleviate shortages of essential items such as medicine, cooking gas, fertilizer, meals for children, and cash for vulnerable households. The passage is not very easy, especially for students with a non-English background, medium background. It's not very easy actually for them. But then one such passage will always be there. Based only on the above passage, which one of the following statements can be inferred, that is concluded with certainty? Give it a try, then we will do it together. Okay, let us do it together. See what has been said. The World Bank has declared. World Bank, you all must be knowing, a bank which does not follow any national boundary, okay, has declared that it does not plan to offer new financing. It is not going to offer new financing to Sri Lanka, which is battling its worst economic crisis in decades. Decade means 10 years. So decades means multiple blocks of 10 years. Means a long, very long time. Until the country has an adequate means enough, macroeconomic policy. Macroeconomic policy means the broader economic policies, okay, framework in place, means the broader economic policies are implemented. In a statement, the World Bank said Sri Lanka needed to adopt structural reforms that focus on economic stabilization. I'm sure you understand that reforms means changes, structural changes that focus on economic stabilization, stability of the economy, and tackle the root causes of its crisis. The latter has starved it of foreign exchange. The lack of economic stabilization has starved it of foreign exchange and led to shortages of food, fuel, and medicines. The bank is repurposing resources under existing loans. Repurposing means rediverting. Okay, it was meant for a different aspect, but the World Bank changed it to the existing loans to, for a different purpose. And what is the different purpose? To help alleviate. Alleviate means satisfy, quench, alleviate shortages of essential items such as medicine, cooking gas, fertilizer, meals for children, and cash for vulnerable households. Vulnerable households means the households which are very much below the poverty line, and hence they're vulnerable to problems, right? So cash for them. So that is the meaning of the topic, passage as such. So based only on the above passage, which one of the following statements can be concluded with certainty? Option number A. According to the World Bank, the root cause of Sri Lanka's economic crisis is that it does not have enough foreign exchange. Now that is absolutely wrong. Foreign exchange, the lack of foreign exchange cannot be the root cause of an economic crisis. Okay, it definitely isn't. Economic crisis may be the, the reason why a country may not have a foreign exchange. But the reverse is not true. And neither has it been anywhere said here, right? So option number A obviously is not the best one to select. Now the next one. The World Bank has stated that it will advise the Sri Lankan government about how to tackle the root causes of its economic crisis. Now that is absolutely false. A World Bank cannot advise a government, right? It cannot. A bank cannot advise a government. And neither has it been said in the passage that the World Bank would like to advise the Sri Lankan government about anything. So this is absolutely wrong. No second thoughts about it. Number C. According to the World Bank, Sri Lanka does not yet have an adequate macroeconomic policy framework. Now, this is absolutely correct because that's exactly what has been said. The World Bank declared that it does not plan to offer new financing until the country has an adequate macroeconomic policy framework in place, which clearly means that it does not have it in place, right? So this is the correct one. Absolutely. In the exam hall, you would not bother to look at point number 4 and waste time, but this is a practice session. Let us go ahead. The World Bank has stated that it will provide Sri Lanka with additional funds for essentials such as food, fuel, and medicines. This is absolutely wrong because it has clearly been stated that it does not plan to offer new financing. So additional financing is out of the question. What it was planning to do, it was planning to repurpose resources under existing loans to, divert food, fuel, and medicines to the country. So naturally, option number C wins by a margin. So this is the correct option. Let's go ahead. The coefficient of x to the power 4 in the polynomial x minus 1 whole cube into x minus 2 whole cube is equal to what? Give it a try. This is a sum that does not have any shortcut. This is a blunt sum. Sometimes blunt sums also come. The main problem that students face here is making silly mistakes in calculations. Let us do it together. See, we all must be knowing that a minus b whole cube is equal to a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube, right? So based on that, what is x minus 1 whole cube? It would be x cube. See, 3 into x square into 1. So that would be 3x square. So minus 3x square. Then it would be plus 3 into x into 1 square. Okay. So that would be plus 3x. And then last it would be minus 1. 1 cube is 1. Right. So this is it. And then what is x minus 2 whole cube? Once again the same thing. X cube, say minus 2 is there. So naturally it would be minus 6x square. Then it would be plus 12x and then it would be minus 8. Now, in a class wherein I am solving a problem and explaining to students, it is imperative that I multiply all of them and bring out the total value of x to the power 4 and hence find out the coefficient. But then in an exam hall, we would not be doing exactly that because that would be lengthy. So what is the shortcut that we would apply in an exam hall? We first select this x cube. Now x cube into x cube will not give us x to the power 4. So forget it. X cube into x square will not give us x to the power 4. Forget it. X cube into x will give us x to the power 4. So I remember that the result is 12x4. X cube into minus 8 will not give us x to the power 4. So forget it. Now x square. X square and x cube will not give us x to the power 4. Forget it. But x square and x square will give us x to the power 4. So let us do it. Minus 3 into minus 6 is plus 18. So I remember this, plus 18x to the power 4. X square into x will not give us x to the power 4. Forget it. X square into 8 will not give us x to the power 4. So forget it. Now 3x into x's cube will give us x to the power 4. So let us remember it. Now 3x into x square will give us x cube. So let us forget it. X into x will give us x square. Let us forget it. X into x to the power 0 will give us only x. So let us forget it. Now there is minus 1. Now 1 multiplied by anything will never give us x to the power 4. So this is what we have. So what is the summation of this? 12 plus 18 is 30. 30 plus 3 is 33. So 33x to the power 4 with a plus sign. So we say it's 33. Okay, this is how you actually do it. Well, I hope you understand. There is no other shortcut. So let's go ahead and do the next. This was simple. Which one of the following shapes can be used to tile completely cover by repeating a flat plane extending to infinity in all directions? This is an important information. Without leaving any empty spaces in between them. The copies of the shape used to tile are identical and are not allowed to overlap. So the options are circles, regular octagons, regular pentagons, and a rhombus. Give it a try. Well, this is common information. Since it is infinite, so you see, it is a rhombus that can take care of everything, right? It goes on and on and on, and you can fit rhombuses after rhombuses and after rhombuses. So it's the rhombus that will be the one that will be the correct option. I hope you have understood. Let's go on to the next. Oh, that has ended.